are long chains of fructose. They don't taste sweet, and they're found in lots of vegetables, and you may not even know that you're having a problem with fructans. You may think that you're eating great and you're just having digestive problem. That's why I'm always saying, if you got a digestive problem, you got a digestive problem. If you have a digestive issue, you're eating the wrong foods. If you have bloating or gas or diarrhea or constipation or loose stools or whatever, you're eating the wrong stuff. And that's why it's so important to keep a digestive log, keep a food journal, where all the foods you're eating are connected to digestive symptoms. All the foods you're eating, whatever you eat, anything. That's why also it's so helpful to do a mono diet. That is where you only eat one type of food. Instead of having apple pie, just have apples. Instead of having a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, just have peanuts. Instead of having chicken marsala, just have a little piece of chicken. Instead of having a big complicated chef salad, just have some cucumbers. That way it's easy to isolate what foods are causing what problems. By the way, all the cruciferous vegetables, which most people consider, including myself, most people consider these vegetables to be very, very medicinal. I consider them to be very medicinal. Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, broccoli, bok choy. The cruciferous vegetables are especially high in fructans. So are onions and garlic, so are mushrooms. Peas contain a good amount of fructan, and so do sweet potatoes, and so do avocados. These are all foods that are normally considered to be healthy foods. But if you have fructose or fructan malabsorption problems, you could very well be reacting to even these very important foods. One of the sneakiest places where you're going to find these fructans is in snack bars and protein bars and energy bars. Food processors love fructans because fructans are considered to be a form of fiber. So these kinds of foods can be used as fillers, and they can be expanders, and you can see commercials on TV that tell you about how wonderful the food is because it has lots of fiber. But if you have fructan malabsorption, you can react to these kinds of foods. Fiber One snack bars are a classic example. If you look at the ingredient deck of a Fiber One snack bar, by the way, you should always be looking at ingredient decks, especially in processed foods. If you look at an ingredient deck of a Fiber One snack bar, the first ingredient you're going to see is chicory root extract. Now, how could anyone who is not a nutritionist or not a food chemist know that chicory root extract is just another term for fructan? Sometimes fructan will be called oligosaccharide. Sometimes fructan will be called inulin. Attention, anyone with digestive symptoms, be an ingredient deck reader and know your ingredients. Another hidden source of fructans is grains, especially wheat. Barley contains fructans, rye contains fructans. All grains are going to give you a little bit of fructans. Spelt contains fructans. Brown rice contains fructans. And remember, the odds are really good that you are one of the folks who's going to have a problem with fructans or fructose. 1 out of 3 Americans is dealing with FMS, fructose malabsorption syndrome. And if you have any digestive health issue, if you have IBS or Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis, the odds are even higher that you have a fructose or fructan malabsorption issue. This is one reason why I say avoiding grains entirely is a much more effective dietary health strategy than just going gluten-free. For everyone who has digestive health issues, if you are dealing with any digestive health issues, stay away from grains. You don't need them. They're more than likely causing more problems than good. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to folks with digestive issues who feel like all they need to do is avoid gluten. Go gluten-free. You see all these gluten-free foods out on the supermarket, and people think I can have my gluten-free brownies, I can have my gluten-free pizza, I can have my gluten-free beer, I can have my gluten-free whatever, not realizing that there's all kinds of other things, including fructans, in these grains and flour products that can be a problem. Sometimes even well-meaning healthcare practitioners will fall into the same trap when they tell their patients to go gluten-free. Gluten is just one of the problems associated with grains. And by the way, food processors are really guilty of taking advantage of this gluten-free mania. The only way to know if you have a problem with a certain food is to eat that food and see how you feel. Eat a lot of the food and see how you feel. Spend the whole day just eating grains. Spend the whole day just eating fructose. Spend the whole day just eating one type of food that you suspect is a problem and see how you feel. And keep in mind, fructose malabsorption is not the same as gluten intolerance in the sense that fructose malabsorption is an overloading issue. Gluten intolerance is an allergy. The body just can't handle, there's an immune reaction to gluten. When we talk about fructose malabsorption, we're talking about the body not being able to handle that much fructose. The fructose transport mechanisms become overloaded. Gluten intolerance is an issue of allergy, which means that even if you have a tiny little bit of gluten, you're going to be susceptible to gluten intolerance. On the other hand, with fructose malabsorption issues, small amounts of fructose or small amounts of fructan may be tolerable, but once you start getting into more fructose or more fructan, that's where you run into the problem. One of the most important sources of fructans in the American diet is bananas. According to an article that was published in the Journal of Nutrition in July 1999, bananas account for almost 3% of the total dietary fructan consumed by Americans. In fact, next to onions and garlic and grains, most of the fructans that Americans consume comes from bananas, which, after apples, is America's favorite fruit. Another interesting idea when it comes to fructose malabsorption is the relationship between glucose and fructose. As it turns out, a little bit of ordinary glucose, which is the main sweetener in table sugar, is going to help the body handle fructose. And for this reason, you never want to be using a food that has more fructose than glucose. If you're just eating fruits and natural foods, that's not going to be a problem. However, if you're eating a lot of processed foods that contain high fructose corn syrup, that will be a problem. High fructose corn syrup is usually around 55% or more fructose compared to glucose, and there's a lot of hidden sources of high fructose corn syrup. If you're eating processed foods, if you're drinking a lot of soda pop, chances are you're ingesting a lot of this high fructose corn syrup stuff, and if you have FMS, be warned. No matter what the commercials are telling you about how natural high fructose corn syrup is and how high fructose corn syrup is just corn sugar and it's all the same as sugar, it is absolutely not, especially for folks with fructose malabsorption syndrome, because of the higher concentration of fructose, because there's more fructose than glucose in high fructose corn syrup. All right, there's one last thing that I want to tell you about fructose malabsorption syndrome, and that is in its connection with something that may be the single most important substance in the body. Certainly when it comes to anti-aging, a case could be made that this is the most important stuff in the body. And if you're dealing with FMS, there's a good chance that you're not going to be making enough of this stuff, and it's going to have a large role to play in accelerated aging. We'll tell you what I mean when I come back from our break. Actually, we'll talk about it in our next Bright Side episode. When we come back, we'll get your phone calls. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be
My Magic Mud is a tooth whitening powder that removes plaque and detoxifies your mouth. It's safe for your enamel, giving you a beautiful polish and a dentist-like clean after every use. My Magic Mud is also the perfect remedy for pain caused by sensitivity. It strengthens your teeth and gums for a strong, healthy smile. The ingredients are 100% natural and it's safe for children. Simply brush with My Magic Mud right before bedtime for a cleaning you can count on. Visit mymagicmud.com.
Genesis is defined as an origin, creation, or the beginning. Genesis Communications Network began with the mission of providing you with the kind of compelling content you're listening to now. And at GCNlive.com, you'll find a free archive of our nation's history, narrated by GCN hosts, explored, shared, and passed down to future generations. GCN is the future of talk radio, but we should always strive to learn from our past. Together, we are GCNlive.com. GCN.
At 30dayfoodsupply.com, you can now purchase a one-of-a-kind product not available anywhere else. A meatless burger dry mix in 4 delicious flavors. With our new Oregon Trail Foods vegan burgers, all you do is add water and fry. They need no refrigeration. They're packaged in Mylar bags with an oxygen absorber for a long shelf life. They're non-GMO. They're gluten, soy, nut, and chemical-free, but they're loaded with flavor. And a good source of carbs and protein, yet low in sodium. Flavors include Italian, spicy Mexican, Mexican, 6 vegetable, and black bean olive. Go to 30dayfoodsupply.com or call 541-229-0010 and order today. Eat them every day, take them camping, or save them for an emergency. Check them out at 30dayfoodsupply.com and click on the vegan burger icon. That's 30dayfoodsupply.com, where all of our products are produced in Oregon by Oregon Trail Foods. 30dayfoodsupply.com.
What good is a Big Berkey water filter?
We get that question a lot here at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com, and in a word, the answer is protection. Protection from water main breaks, E. coli contamination, environmental chemical spills, pesticide runoff, chlorine taste and smell, and all forms of fluoride. Plus, Big Berkey water filters are the original gravity water filter system and most trusted on the market for a reason. Tested by multiple independent NSF EPA certified labs, they are the gold standard in water purification. At only 1.7 cents a gallon, a single set of filters can last for 5 to 10 years. That means big savings. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get a Big Berkey today at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. GCN listeners receive 5% off all ceramic filter systems. Visit our website or call 1-877-99-BERKEY. That's 877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
The Genesis Communications Network is one of America's premier broadcasters of captivating talk radio. We thank you for listening. Now, just imagine, there are thousands of people who are just as passionate about radio as you are. But what you may not realize is how easy and affordable it is to advertise with us. Radio commercials for your business could be heard on hundreds of radio stations across the U.S. every day. We can help you by creating an effective radio advertising campaign for your company. From script writing to producing your commercial, just like the one you're listening to right now. No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective. A little right, a little left, but always independent-minded. The Genesis Communications Network, GCN.
All right, we're back on the bright side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. When we come back on our next bright side episode, I'm going to tell you about this anti-aging compound that is related to fructose, in the sense that if you're dealing with an FMS issue, fructose malabsorption issue, you could very well run deficient in this very important anti-aging compound. This stuff is important for brain health, for mental health. It's important for the digestive system. I'll tell you what I mean when we come back on our next bright side episode, so you're going to want to tune into that, especially if you're dealing with fructose malabsorption issues. Our number is 866-582-9933. We got full boards, and if you want to get on board, wait till somebody disconnects, wait till we let go of somebody, and then that's your cue to give us a shout at 866-582-9933. All right, let's go to Texas for our first call of the day. George, welcome to the bright side. What's up, buddy?
Morning, Ben.
Greetings, George.
You know, the thing is, I bought a tangy tangerine 2 weeks ago. It just came into the mail, and one thing I noticed, like I say, I got a little surge of energy, but one of the immediate effects of taking tangerine is I started sleeping well and getting a good night's rest.
Wow.
And before that, I had fitful sleeps, and I got up 3 or 4 times a night. And ever since taking Tangy Tangerine, I slept a full 7 hours.
Very nice. Well, one of the reasons that we don't sleep as well as we might is because of stress hormone, cortisol, and cortisol